The history of astronomy is a history of receding horizons. Science is the one human activity that is truly progressive. The body of positive knowledge is transmitted from generation to generation. Positive objective knowledge is public property. It can be transmitted directly from one person to another. It can be pooled, and it can be passed on from one generation to the next. Consequently, knowledge accumulates through the ages, each generation adding its contribution. Values are quite different. By values, I mean the standard by which we judge the significance of life, the meaning of good and evil, of joy and sorrow, of beauty, justice, success. All these are purely private convictions, and they constitute our store of wisdom. They are peculiar to the individual, and no methods exist by which universal agreement can be obtained. Therefore, wisdom cannot be readily transmitted from person to person, and there is no great accumulation through the ages. Each man starts from scratch and acquires his own wisdom from his own experience. About all that can be done in the way of communication is to expose others to vicarious experience in the hope of a favorable response. Equipped with our five senses, along with telescopes and microscopes, and mass spectrometers, and seismographs, and magnetometers, and particle accelerators, and detectors sensitive to the entire electromagnetic spectrum, we explore the universe around us and call the adventure science. Astronomy is something like the ministry. No one should go into it without a call. I got that unmistakable call, and I know that even if I were second-rate or third-rate, it was astronomy that mattered. The universe is unfolding as it should. Past time is finite. Future time is infinite. All nature is a vast symbolism. Every material fact has sheathed within it a spiritual truth. A scientist naturally and inevitably mulls over the data and guesses at a solution. He proceeds to testing of the guess by new data, predicting the consequences of the guess, and then dispassionately inquiring whether or not the predictions are verified. Observations always involve theory. The outstanding feature, however, is the possibility that the velocity-distance relation may represent the de Sitter effect, and hence that numerical data may be introduced into discussions of the general curvature of space. The great spirals, with their enormous radial velocities and insensible proper motions, apparently lie outside our solar system. The explorations of space end on a note of uncertainty, and necessarily so. We know our immediate neighborhood rather intimately. With increasing distance, our knowledge fades, and fades rapidly. Eventually we reach the dim boundary, the utmost limits of our telescopes. There we measure shadows, and we search among ghostly errors of measurement for landmarks that are scarcely more substantial. The search will continue. Not until the empirical resources are exhausted need we pass on to the dreamy realms of speculation. The scientist explores the world of phenomena by successive approximations. He knows that his data are not precise and that his theories must always be tested. It is quite natural that he tends to develop healthy skepticism, suspended judgment, and disciplined imagination. We do not know why we are born into the world, but we can try to find out what sort of a world it is, at least in its physical aspects. Science deals with judgments on which it is possible to obtain universal agreement. These judgments do not concern individual facts and events, but the invariable association of facts and events known as the laws of science. Agreement is secured by observation and experiment. Impartial courts of appeal, to which all men must submit if they wish to survive. The laws are grouped and explained by theories of ever-increasing generality. The theories at first are ex post facto, mere plausible interpretations of existing bodies of data. However, they frequently lead to predictions that can be tested by experiments and observations in new fields. And if the interpretations are verified, the theories are accepted as working hypotheses until they prove untenable. The essential requirements are agreement on the subject matter and the verification of predictions. These features ensure a body of positive knowledge that can be transmitted from person to person, and that accumulates from generation to generation. The whole thing is so much bigger than I am, and I can't understand it, so I just trust myself to it and forget about it.